All right, so good morning. Today is May 12th. Welcome to Algebra 2. Like usual, if you have a pencil and paper, try to have those in front of you for notes. You guys know to attend office hours if you have any questions, and then try to find some quiet space if possible. As always, let's do our stress check. So make sure to type into the chat box how you're feeling today. Okay, good. So I see a...
What's wrong with you, Miss? You look like you having Miss, you lucky. Miss, you lucky. On God, like all of you.
That means we missed school. But even though
No,
learning
but
platform better.
yeah, I like this platform better.
I know, and you're doing really well with it. So today's objectives are, we're just gonna review the CFA right triangle and trigonometry problem. We're gonna review half of them today and then the other half on Thursday. This is a new CFA. I know you guys just finished your CFA 3A. I think it was like last week or a week and a half ago. So we're moving on to CFA.
I forgot we had a CA.
Yeah. Instead of the usual 8 problems that I give you guys, you're going to have the CFA to complete as part of your homework assignment. And remember that the CFA does count for more points. Instead of the usual 8, this one's actually 10. All right, so let's review.
Miss, you have an echo.
What was that?
You have an echo within the echo.
All right, so it says, Andy Man filled his chainsaw with fuel. He then measured the amount of fuel his chainsaw has over time. He displays his data using the graph below. So looking at this graph, we need to select all the conclusions that Andy can correctly make using the graph. So we need to look at options A through E and then figure out which one of these conclusions correctly match the graph. And also, okay, perfect, it's better now, good. Thank you, I saw that it sounds better. Okay, and I see your responses. So if you guys can type in, that'd be great if you type in your options so I can have an idea of how well you understood this problem as I go through it. But notice it does say select all the conclusions, meaning it might be more than one. So just be careful with that. So it says in the first 10 minutes, the amount of fuel decreases by 12 ounces. So what I need to first know is that the word decreases means that it goes down, right? So it goes down by 12 ounces. So it says in the first 12 minutes. So I try to find minutes. It's actually cut off now that I look at it, but minutes is on this end. This is fuel, this is minutes. So it says in the first 12 minutes. Sorry, in the first 10 minutes. So I know that the first 10 minutes is this chunk right here. Okay. So it says within the first 12 minutes, meaning from here, right, from where it starts to here, it decreases by 12 ounces. So right now it's at 15 at this point, and this is at 12. So does that decrease by 12 ounces? Okay, good. So I see your responses and I didn't see, oh wait, it says A, B, C, D, and E. Okay, so if we look at this one, it does not decrease by 12 ounces because it starts at 15 and then it goes to 12, meaning it only goes down by 3 ounces, okay? And if something doesn't make sense, make sure to stop me and say you need more clarification on letter A, for example. So even though it ends at 12 ounces, so that's where they try to trick you. It seems like at the 10-minute mark, it's at 12, right? But it didn't go down by 12. It only went down by 3 from the start. So just careful with that. So that is not an answer. I'm gonna cross them out if they're wrong and then circle them if they're correct. So Andy started with 15 ounces of fuel in his chainsaw. So this is at 0 minutes, meaning that's where it starts. And I have to check where is it at? Where's the mark, or where does it start? And if you look, we already marked it at that point and it did start at 15. So B is correct. Good. So if we look at letter C, it says the amount of fuel decreases 0.3 of an ounce every minute. So we need to see every minute, how much does it go down by? But notice that it's going by 2s, right? 2, 4, 6. So we want to see every minute, so meaning at this point, how much did it go down by? So from here, we can see that it goes down about, so it says, let's say 0.3 of an ounce per minute. So we go, give me a second with this one. Okay, so we can use slope for this one. Okay, so I see what you have for that one. It says 0.3 of an ounce. So if we were to look at our slope, oops. Okay. So it would tell us that we go down in fuel 1, 2, 3, right? That went down 3. And this is every 10 minutes, okay? So what this is saying is that for every time it's decreasing, so notice at every point, so we look at the point, hold on, where's the next one? Sorry, you guys. I'm having trouble with this. No. So no, it should have been right here. Okay. So what it's saying is that every 10 minutes, it is going down by 3 ounces. So it is decreasing. The slope is at 3/10, so it is decreasing by 3/10. Ms. Marquez, if you're looking at this one, can you correct me if I'm wrong on this one? Because the wording is throwing me off a little bit.
It says every minute or not every minute?
You considered the fact that it starts off at 15, but it wouldn't, it just means that you would be left with no fuel after an hour. Sorry, I have to put this in real quick. But that was a really good observation, okay? So the amount of fuel decreases at the rate of 18 ounces per hour, and yes, it does. We just wouldn't have any left, okay?
Harmony, the password is Ventura.
All right,
Sorry.
so no, you're fine. Looking at question 2. So what's my first step for this?
So Miss,
this was,
you won't be
this
an
was,
answer,
I thought it was A or C, but I'm going with C because when I typed in, it was 25.9. So
Okay.
I just rounded it.
And then
But
what
your
were you
first,
saying?
So he's not an answer, huh?
What was that?
He's not an answer, huh?
D or B is not an answer. It had to be either 24 or 26.
Okay, and why is that? Can you guys explain it to me?
Oh, when you 32 divided by 14 is 0.375, and then when you do that, you don't use that inverse thing, I guess that's what it's called, I believe. And then when you use the inverse, you're gonna use sin with that -1, and sin. Hold up. So 0.4375 sin.
Okay, so even before you go into that piece, can you explain to me how you got this? Like, how did you choose 32/14? And in that order?
I just, actually, it's really, wait, let me go back to the video. First, you have to see the sides. It's going to be opposite over hypotenuse, so it's really 14/32.
Okay, good. So it's actually 14/32. Meaning you used, because they gave you opposite and hypotenuse, that's how you got the idea of using sine, right?
Yes.
And does that give you something different besides 2.285?
Yes, it gives us 0.4375.
So you said it gave 0. What?
4375.
4375. And then
That's what
yes.
I got too.
That's what you got? Okay. So you guys both agree?
Yes. I just did it in the calculator.
Okay, good. And then what did you plug in after that? Let me just do it myself too.
The way after you get go to the inverse, you're gonna use that sin -1 on the top, and then you want to plug in with the 0.4375, and the answer they give you is 25.94, so on.
Is that what you got, Sarai?
Yeah.
Good. And then that's because we did the sine, the inverse of sine, right, on each side. Okay, that cancels out the sine portion. and then you plug that in. Good. So that gave you, what did that round up to?
26. Hey, Miss. So when I put that answer the first try, it gave me 0 because I know I got the first one wrong, but the second one I put C and it says I got it wrong.
Okay, I'll write that in my notes to go back and look at that.
Okay.
Please, really quick, why did you say that B and D were automatically not possible? Like, why did you say those are not?
Oh, because even though I probably got the wrong, even if I got the wrong solution, is when you see it's in the 20s, it can possibly be over at least 30. So 60 is automatically out.
That was one of the, if you notice the angles is like it could have been like a 90, a 30, 60, 90, right? So the 60s were going to be too big. They were going to be the opposite angle than the question mark, right? It would have been on the other side, the bigger angle. That one looked like the smaller angle. The question mark looked like it would have been the smaller angle. You practiced the 30, 60, 90 triangle?
No, we haven't covered it.
Oh, okay.
Fully,
Okay, but that was a good observation, though. I was telling Ms. Ventura, I'm proud of you guys. You guys are learning really well.
Oh yeah, and they're really coming to office hours and. All right, so let's look at, now that we have that one. So we're gonna, our last session, we started to do our CFA 5 review, but we didn't get fully through it. This is what we worked on last time. So now we're gonna go into our next question. So we're gonna take our time with these questions because I know they can be wordy and confusing, but I also know that you guys have the knowledge to be able to do it. And we only have about 6 minutes left. So we're gonna try to get through this one, but if not, we'll at least get an idea of what it's about. So it says triangle 1 has an angle that measures 62 degrees and an angle that measures 14 degrees. Okay, so that's the information for triangle 1. So I'm going to put those in red and then I'm going to choose a different color.
Ms. V, Harmy said, can you accept her?
Is she, I haven't received her request yet. But as soon as she, as it lets me know she's in the waiting room, I will. Triangle 2 says that it has an angle that measures, oh, well, where is it? Okay, 14 degrees and an angle that measures X degrees where X, do you guys remember what this means? Because I know we talked about it last time. Do you remember what this symbol means?
It's not congruent, right?
Well, yeah, or not equal to, right?
Yeah. But
congruent means same, so either way, but not equal. X is not equal to 60 degrees. Based on Bob claims that triangle 1 and triangle 2 cannot be similar. So he says they can.
Mom, can I have a cake?
All right, which values of X in degrees will refute Bob's claim? Okay. Does anyone have any idea how I can start this problem? What's one of the first things I can do? Even if it's a little
What you say, Miss?
So my question was, what would you guys start doing? What would you do to help solve this problem? What's one of the first things you might do?
I don't know.
Okay, so I'll start with the first one. So something I like to do personally is I like to do little drawings because to me that helps me visualize this. So if it says triangle 1, I'm just gonna, it didn't state the right triangle and it doesn't tell me anything about 90 degrees. So I'm just gonna go ahead and draw just any triangle. Okay? And that's just what helps me, it helps me visualize this. So I know that.
What about X over 14?
What was that?
I said, what about X over 14? Can we tell it like that?
So you said writing X over 14? Is that what you meant?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll come back to what you mean by that in a second. I just want to finish this little quick drawing. 62, and I know that that's 40, that's 14. Do we know what this is going to be, with this angle?
No.
Okay. So something that in geometry we cover is all 3 angles. When you add them together, do you guys know what number that should equal to? How many?
90.
Not 90.
100. I don't know.
180 numbers.
What is it?
180.
Good. So if that's
Oh,
x, so we
yeah.
know that 62 plus 14 plus x is equal to 180, because if you add all of them, they should equal to 180. So if I add these two together, 62 plus 14 is
76.
6. Good. And then how do I get x by itself?
You want to add you want to subtract
76.
180, take away 76.
I heard both of you say that. Good. And then what does that give me?
X equals to 104.
Good. So I know that my drawing here is completely incorrect because 104 degrees is obtuse. So this is a little bit closer to our drawing. This is 104 degrees. Let's say this one's 14 degrees, and I should have known that by the degrees, but 62. So that's I'm going to cross that out. This is our triangle 1. Triangle 1. Okay. Now it says triangle 2. Do we have time to cover triangle 2? No. So I'm going to stop right there, and then when we come back, we'll look at triangle 2, see what information we can get from there. Okay. And I saw that comment up there. So what I will go ahead and do is we're going to skip through these because that's a lot of information. Go ahead and type out. No, let's take this one for next time because we are running out of time, big time. And I know you guys have another class to go to. So make sure you complete the do know and the exit ticket if you haven't already. The exit ticket, just do that one's more asking you for the exit ticket, it's asking for each of these problems, how much help do you need to solve it? So just look at the problem and let me know if it's something that you're gonna need a lot of help with or not much help. And you'll see once you do the exit tickets, but if you have questions,
Bye, Ms. Marquez. Bye, Ms. Ventura. Bye, Ms.
Bye,
Ross.
peace.
Have
I
a
know you
blessed
have your
day.
class. See ya. But, all right, Sarai, you got it?